Most people drive right past this little town, but it's seeing some of the fastest growth that I've witnessed in all of my years being here in coastal Delaware. Today we're talking about Milton. Milton's population is absolutely booming. Home values are still relatively low, and there's some massive new developments on the way. But what really sets Milton apart is that they are growing pretty smart, and they're working to preserve the town's historic charm while still adding in thousands of homes and major infrastructure upgrades. So in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you why Milton is quickly becoming coastal Delaware's hottest place to move. So let's get into it. We're kicking things off with some super cool stuff about geography and home prices, because where Milton is on the map actually creates a lot of chances that most people really completely miss. You know, Milton is a charming small town. It sits right on the Broadkill River. It's only about 7 miles from the Delaware Bay as the bird flies. And Milton gives you this perfect mix of being close to the beaches, but still feeling like a chill small town. You're only about 13 to 15 miles from Rehoboth Beach, but it is a complete world away. So you can sip your coffee by the river in the morning time and be building sand castles right next to the ocean with your family after breakfast. It really is a cool spot. But unlike the busy beach towns where everything costs a fortune, Milton is still keeping things relatively affordable. It's got that small town vibe with around 3,900 residents, and it feels like a cool secret spot compared to the packed beach towns that are close by. Getting around to places from Milton is really easy too. Routes 5 and 16 go right through town, and those connect you with all the major roadways in the area in the event that you want to go somewhere else. And with all the new stuff that is being built to support the big changes we're going to talk about soon, it's easy to see why people are starting to pay attention to Milton and give it a little bit more credit. Now, Milton stands out from other small towns near the coast due to its lower housing costs than some of our surrounding towns, and it still has a ton of that small community feel that so many are after, and a lot of other places are either too pricey, too far away from the action, or they just have lost some of their charm. Now, Milton has figured out how to stay easy to get to without becoming super expensive. And that awesome combination is exactly what's making all of these big changes possible. And speaking of big changes, I'm about to show you what's really behind the huge growth that's changing this town like crazy, because Milton is starting to grow rapidly. But first, I want to ask you something. If you are enjoying our breakdown and enjoying our channel, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button down below. We put out content each and every week discussing life and real estate here in coastal Delaware, and subscribing makes sure that you stay in the loop with all things happening here at the beach, and it lets us know that we're doing a good job on the channel. Milton's future growth is where things really start to get a little crazy. They have 2 huge new construction neighborhoods that are being built, and they're going to completely change the town over the next 20 years. These projects are going to bring more than 2,000 new homes to a town that right now only has about 4,000 residents living in it. First up, we've got the Granary at Draper Farms. This is Milton's biggest project it's ever seen. It covers 450 acres located approximately 1 mile from the downtown Milton area, and it's at the corner of Sand Hill Road and Gravel Hill Road. Now, it's going to take over 20 years to build this project, and over those next 20 years, it's going to add 1,350 homes. They broke ground in June of this year, so it's already happening. They're moving forward. Now, what makes the Granary really cool is the comprehensive plan for the neighborhood and all of the items that they plan to include. 25% of the land is staying as open space, and they're going to be adding in stuff like some sports fields, ball fields, a farmer's market, and places for people to hang out and play. That way it's not just wall to wall with homes like some of the other subdivisions that we've seen. They're even putting in a small batch brewery, 2 clubhouses with pools, and 55 acres of park space so that everyone can enjoy it. The first group of homes includes 175 home sites, and the Milton Town Council gave it unanimous approval without any arguments, so they're moving forward. Now, there's also another big project called Milton Village, and this one's going to bring 696 new homes in total. It's going to take about 138 acres, and it's going to be located near routes 30 and 16. It will include 296 apartments, 277 single-family homes, and 123 townhomes. The first 296 apartments got approved in June of 2024. Now, when you put all of this together, you've got the biggest building boom that Milton has ever seen in its history. The average home in Milton costs right around $500,000, and in the beach town, average prices for similar homes are going to be more like $800,000 to over $1 million, depending on the location. So you can see why people are starting to choose Milton. Now, let's just just talking about an example, a house that might cost you $700,000 in Milton could easily be more than $1 million in Rehoboth Beach, which is only a 15 to 20 minute ride away. And that is a big difference to pay for just a short distance drive. But as they say, location is everything, and the proximity to the beach there is driving those prices in Rehoboth. The lower cost in Milton is also awesome for people who work from home. They can keep their jobs with those big companies in the expensive cities, but pay a lot less to live in Milton. And once I tell you what else Milton has to offer, you're gonna see why this place is becoming so popular and has started to boom. The population numbers tell the whole story. I mean, Milton has been growing at a rate of about 3% every year. And since 2020, the population has gone up by more than 16%. From 2000 to 2023, it grew by more than 92%. So the town's almost doubled in size over the last 20 years, which is a ton of growth. Now, the average household income in Milton is about $65,000, which is actually slightly less than the state average, although the high number of retirees throughout the area can slightly skew that number because a lot of them aren't bringing in traditional income. Now, what we're seeing in Milton isn't just random growth, it's smart growth. It's setting up the town to stay strong and valuable for a very long time, and I think some other towns could take notes. You know, the mix of big new neighborhoods and lower prices is pulling in buyers from all over the East Coast, and this is a big change in the way people are thinking about living near the Delaware coast because now they're moving slightly inland from the beaches. And since we're talking about what makes Milton so great, I think we need to discuss what is already here that makes the town way cooler than you might be expecting, because some of these things never make, you know, the area's best list and that kind of stuff because it's not a beach town. Again, Milton might be small, but the things you can do here make it feel way bigger. The most famous place in Milton is Dogfish Head Brewery. It's one of the largest craft breweries, not just in Delaware, but in the country, and it brings people in from all over the country to tour it and enjoy it. Right there at the brewery, there are more than 40 taps for beer and cocktails. They do daily tours. They've got a full kitchen. And they've got a big merchandise store full of cool stuff. It's an awesome place to go and hang out with friends. That's not really the only cool thing that Milton has. They've also got the Milton Theater, which is over 100 years old, and it's absolutely incredible inside. They put on more than 300 shows a year, things from concerts and plays to comedy nights and movies to kids camps. It's the kind of entertainment that you really only usually find in some much bigger cities. Then we've got the Historic District, which is packed with beautiful old buildings. There are 198 buildings listed on the National Register of Historic Places just in downtown Milton alone. So history is what Milton does. Now, these buildings include houses and businesses from way back in the 1700s and 1800s. They're built in styles like Federal, Victorian, and Colonial. I mean, some of them are absolutely gorgeous. On Union Street and Federal Street, you'll see these old buildings right next to some newer ones, which makes walking around downtown an enjoyable blend of history and today's world. It's a really cool mix when you get them together. Now, downtown Milton is also super walkable. There's a small shops, there's places to eat, there's services all right there, and you can find neat spots like the Mercantile at Milton, which sells antiques, and Ogre's Grove, which has comics and collectibles. There really is something for a lot of different tastes. Now, if you like nature, Milton has you covered there too. There's a place called Prime Hook National Wildlife Refuge that spans more than 10,000 acres. It is perfect for bird watching, taking nature photos, or just walking through some peaceful marshes and forests. There are over 245 kinds of birds that live in Prime Hook, and it's one of the best places in the country to see wildlife up close. But there's more. Wagons Pond is right on the edge of town and has spots for fishing and boating. They've even added a new boat ramp, a dock, and they made it easier for people with disabilities to use it. You always see somebody out on Wagons Pond fishing. Now, Milton also cares about keeping nature close. They've built walking paths like the Governor's Walk that goes along the river, and they've made sure new neighborhoods include green spaces and nature trails so they don't lose that aspect and that charm. Now, what makes Milton's list of things to do so special isn't just how cool they are, but how well they all fit together. You know, a lot of small towns are good at one thing, but not other things, and Milton really does it all. You could visit a world famous brewery in the afternoon, you could see a live show at night, and then you can spend your weekend walking through 10,000 acres of nature at Prime Hook. And it's that mix of fun, beauty, and convenience that's making people all over the East Coast want to move to Milton. So now that we know what makes life in Milton so amazing, let's take a look at the real estate numbers and see why buying a home here is such a smart move. And again, here's where things get really exciting because Milton's real estate market is growing rapidly, and it's a perfect example of how the town is changing. You know, like I mentioned before, the average home in Milton is right at about $500,000. And even though the housing market has been a little uncertain in other places, Milton's prices have shown 2.3% growth year over year. As of the recording of this video, there's about 170 homes for sale in town. It's a big jump of more than 40% from year over year, and more homes for sale means buyers have more choices prices, which is something that we're seeing across the area. But again, even with all of that inventory, homes are still selling for strong prices, and most homes are going under contract in less than 80 days, but the really popular ones are still selling within a week or two, which is way faster than the average. Now, one of the coolest things about Milton's market is who's moving here. You know, a lot of buyers are coming from some bigger cities like Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, New York, and the mix of people from different places helps keep the market steady and shows how much people want to live in Milton because it's got strong demand. I think something that a lot of people miss is that the long-term potential in Milton is huge, and it has a lot to do with all the smart planning and big projects that the town is working on. It's no secret that there's a ton of growth there. Now, these upgrades and new developments are building a strong base for future growth, and most coastal towns don't really have this kind of setup, and they didn't think about it back when they were built out. You know, over the last 3 years, home values in Milton have gone up by about 25%, and that's a big jump and proves how much people want to live there. Even with all of that growth, Milton is still way more affordable than our nearby beach towns. You can still find homes starting in the mid 300s if you look just outside the historic area. You know, if you want something in the heart of town, you're probably looking more in the $500,000 to $800,000 range, but it's still a far cry of what you'll find in the downtown beach towns just a few miles away. New neighborhoods like Heritage Creek and Cannery Village start around the mid 400s, and the new Granary community will also offer modern homes starting in that price range with lots of great features included and all of that awesome park space. So why does Milton have such a strong future? Well, there's a huge list of new homes being built that we just discussed over the next 20 years, and the town is also investing in all of the stuff that keeps everything running. Things like water systems and roads, and this kind of steady growth helps the town get stronger without losing what makes it special. You know, Milton approved a $6.2 million loan to improve its water system. That included a new 500,000 gallon water tower on Federal Street, upgrades to the Chandler Street water treatment plant, and replacing old water pipes on Carey Street, Walnut Street, Magnolia Street, Reed Street, and Mill Street. These improvements are going to help the town handle all of the new homes and people moving in it and make sure that everything keeps running smoothly. Now, perhaps the most talked about change is the cellular tower that they just built downtown. Cell service downtown used to be some of the worst in the area, but now that the cell tower is going up, it should improve for everyone. I got to tell you, I'm the most excited, I think, for that one. They're also making the roads in Milton better. The state is building a new overpass where Route 16 meets Route 1, and it's set to open in 2025. The southbound portion is already open. They're waiting on the northbound portion. Roundabouts are going in at busy spots, and there's another big project planned for 2028 at Route 1 and Cave Neck Road. Now, Milton is in a really smart spot. It's right between protecting what's old and building what's new. The historic downtown stays protected, but there's room for brand new neighborhoods and growth as well. And that balance is helping Milton grow in a way that really keeps its charm while making space for more people, as there's no slowing down how many people are moving here. Now, experts think prices are going to keep going up as more people discover Milton. With lower prices than the beach towns, easy access to the coast, fun places to go, and big development projects, the town is set to grow a lot over the next 10 to 20 years. I've had Milton pinned as my #1 growth market for the last 2 years, and we're starting to see all of those pieces really fall into place. Now, Delaware as a whole is growing. The state is adding people at a steady rate of about 1.5% per year and is one of the fastest growing states in the country. In a time when a lot of other states are shrinking, Delaware is growing. Sussex County, where Milton is located, has grown by more than 40% since 2010, and right now the population is around 270,000 people, and it's still growing at more than 2.5% each year. And what we're seeing in Milton is a rare chance. It's the kind of moment that only comes around every once in a while. You know, there's smart planning, there's big demand, and people from all over the East Coast are starting to take notice. And between the new neighborhoods, upgrades to the town services, and the steady growth, Milton is set up to keep going strong for years to come. And for people who get in early, this could mean big rewards in the future through appreciation and everything else. Now, Milton is a great opportunity for families, investors, businesses, really anybody. It brings together the feel of an old, charming town with all the energy of a growing community. With homes being built, roads and water systems getting better, and more people arriving every year, this quiet corner of coastal Delaware is turning into one of the most popular destinations for a lot of people. Now, the bottom line, what's going on in Milton right now is something that I have not seen in coastal Delaware in a very long time. I mean, this town isn't just growing fast, it's doing it in a way that keeps the charm, the character, and the affordability all in place, and people love this area. Now, if you've been holding out for the right time to jump in, I can tell you right now could be it in Milton. If you're thinking about making a move to Milton or anywhere along coastal Delaware, now's the time. There's some big projects that are in place, shaking things up, and they're already starting, and upgrades to the area are in full swing. My team and I would love to be your real estate experts of choice choice, and all of our contact information is gonna be down below in the description. So reach out if we can help in absolutely any way. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you on the next video.